Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's pick a card reading is going to be a quick, short, concise, succinct, get right to the point reading around how is fortune about to favour you and how can you best take advantage of the luck or serendipity or the goddess Fortuna herself deciding to grace you with her benevolence and protection. So that's what we're going to be doing the reading on. Just wanted to quickly say something for my regular viewers around this and you know, I love you all. Thank you so much for being with me. I really would like your feedback on this. This particular type and structure of reading, because I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm just experimenting. People who are familiar with my readings probably over the last 6 months or more, I've tended to do 4 pick a cards in it, and I've tended to do readings that are quite structured and quite detailed. So I tend to start with big themes, and I get into a lot of detail, then I sort of look at different lenses through it, different questions through it, and then synthesize. And I'm not going to stop doing those. And they do tend to be on self-development, spiritual development, some of the big questions that we deal with. Because frankly, I think the world has a lot of interesting challenges, and I'm really excited about the energy I see in this, about the sort of people like your good selves out there who I think are going to make such a difference in the world. So I'm not going to change anything in terms of doing those sorts of readings. What I want to do is experiment with these more short and sharp ones as well. And these are probably going to be more like the structure that you quite often see in tarot readings on YouTube. So it's just a different structure, a little bit more to the point, very tarot heavy with just a little bit of oracle sort of input at the end. That's the idea of it. And I just want to test out whether this draws in a broader audience, because the most mysterious force in the known universe, I think, is the YouTube algorithm. If anybody ever does an oracle deck to crack the code of that, I'm the first person in line to get a copy. I really don't understand it completely, but what I do know is that while I have wonderful, wonderful, loyal people, you know, like you who come and watch these videos, and I love you so much for doing that, and I'm so excited about reading for you guys, lately there's been a slowing down of new views coming. So which becomes a little bit of a mystery, because people are returning, people are enjoying it, people are engaging more, all the other metrics are going up, but I don't know why that is. You know, as I say, YouTube is a mystery, but it did occur to me that as YouTube sends things out, it may be that there are some people who look at things like the length of the video or the topic and so forth, and if it's not their thing, they don't look at it, and as a result, they don't get introduced to the readings. And I want to get these readings out to as many people as I can, to whoever it can be really helpful for. So I just thought I'd experiment with something a little bit different to see whether this may draw in a new audience, plus also be enjoyable to my core audience. And you guys are my, you know, if you are seeing this and you are part of my core audience, and I really would like to hear from you whether you would enjoy these. As I say, they're not going to replace the standard sort of readings that I do. I'm going to continue to do those, but I'm just thinking these as a sort of a bonus to do every once in a while, and if it really takes off, to sort of like bring it in a little bit more regularly as well too. So it's an experiment. I'd love your thoughts on it. And beyond that, I hope that you enjoy the reading anyway, and that and if you are new, welcome. Please let me know if you enjoy these sort of readings, and if you do check out any of my other sort of readings that are longer, let me know how that compares for you, all that sort of thing. So sorry for that little bit of a rave, but it's just really helpful to find out what you guys want out there, because that's what I want to do. I want to bring as much of this sort of information and spirit guidance and channeling to as broad an audience as possible, but to the audience that the messages are right for, and that enjoy the different types of ways of doing it. So what we're going to do today, as I say, is going to be pretty short and sharp. It's going to start with one tarot deck, and then there will be a second tarot deck that I think energetically connects with the one for each reading, to look at in what way is fortune about to favor you, and how can you maximize that and the benefit of it. And then also with the clarification of the second tarot deck, what might you not see that's worth knowing so that you can really take advantage of it. And then we'll use a few oracle decks just for a little bit more information. So as I say, it should be a quicker, more to the point sort of reading on a key topic, and that's the sort of idea of it. So hopefully you enjoy it. So to help with the choice, I will put down the numbers as I always do, because people do like that. I have been asked to do it in the past, so I will continue to do that. So as I say, there's 3 different readings to choose from. You can certainly go to more than one. You may have more than one area where fortune is about to favour you. Or you may feel at the beginning that doesn't resonate and check out another one and so forth. So that's completely up to you. But what I have to help with the choice is the Wheel of Fortune card from the key tarot deck that I'm going to use for each of these readings. And then there will be, as I say, a second tarot deck for clarification in that, which you'll see if you go to the reading, that is to me energetically a bit similar to this tarot deck. So for pile number 1, I'm using the White Fly Tarot. For pile number 2, the Wilder Woven Tarot. And for pile number 3, the Cute and Creepy Tarot. So the imagery might draw you, the sense of the types of decks we're talking about here might draw you, the number may, anything may, you may need to pause the video and contemplate. Whatever works for you, that's fine, do that. And when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, as always, I've got the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile number 1 to your reading. So we're going to start with the White Fly Tarot, and we're going to ask for the area of your life where fortune is about to favour you, and some guidance from Spirit about how to best take advantage of this luck or fortune that's coming in. So okay, so there's a very strong sort of sense in this about a change on the emotional level that is going to be for the best, but maybe one that had material sort of implications for it, or that you felt a little bit reluctant to do. So I get the sense here with the Two of Swords, one of the areas where fortune is going to favour you is that you're going to feel able to make a decision where you've maybe felt that you couldn't. So if this is about a relationship, for instance, it may be that you felt that you needed to move on, or to bring something to the surface, or to work out if something was what you actually wanted it to be. But you've been a bit reluctant because I think of material outcomes about whether or not this is something you want to commit to, whether or not it's something you want to move away from. There's a real decision around this. There's a real material outcome around this. But what is being promised is a new beginning and a better option. Whether it could be with a relationship, bringing things to the surface, letting go of emotional patterns and emotional grievances that might have existed, and then moving out of that sense of being emotionally stuck and intellectually stuck to let love back in. So this could be and not leave something to actually commit to it, or it could be to make the decision to leave, say, a relationship or something emotional. Now, for some of you, this may not be about a relationship. It might be around a career or creative project. With the Pentacles here, this looks like there is a decision around whether to commit to and continue with something that you haven't been sure about, a job, a creative project, whatever that might be. Or it could be around whether or not you sort of stay in a job and you move to a new one, something like that. There's something that's material. It could have a material aspect along relationships as well. So classically, this could be fortune is going to favour you when you come to the point where you say, I'm going to make the decision around this relationship. And it is either that I'm going to decide to leave a relationship that was not working, but I was hanging on to, but I was just never going to commit to, or the other person wasn't going to commit. And I'm going to let go of the idea that I had about that relationship, because all it was doing was binding me up, because there's a new one coming through and that will actually resolve the pain. I think that's the most likely thing for here. I think this is most likely around relationship. But if it's not around relationship, then as I say, it's around work or creative or something material where there was a strong emotional pull towards a particular outcome, a particular thing, but it wasn't necessarily working for you. But there's a better option, a better love, as I say, or a better option creatively, or a better job coming in. So fortune is opening up the prospect of you either committing to something, a relationship, and taking it to the next level and letting go of some disappointment that might have been there, or it's doing a similar thing around your work or your creativity in some way. This is not really a change of strategy. This is not really a sense of sort of like, passion and creative, energy coming through. This is very material. This is very much about, do you commit to something and move it to the next level, or do you let it go and let something new in? But either way, that is the fortunate thing to do. Spirit is saying quite strongly here that you were reluctant to go through the emotional pain of whatever this was, the disappointment. You had an idea of what would make you happy. And that idea is not, it actually held you captive rather than letting you go towards what really would. So I often find with relationships, when I do relationship readings, and even when I talk to friends about this, that often the thing that we mourn the most when we move away from a relationship is the idea we had of it. Because if we really looked it in the face and worked out whether or not it was giving us what we wanted, the commitment that we wanted, or something that we felt we could commit to, that's not actually there. The reality of it wasn't there. And when we let that go, we let that idea go, that's when we can let something that is better coming in. So if this is around a relationship, it could be that. It could also be that something has happened in a relationship. Somebody hasn't committed for some period of time, or you felt that it wasn't living up to some ideal that you had, but there is still something to be said for it, and you could commit to it, again, if you let go of the idea. Similarly with creativity. If this is around creativity or a job, this is a decision about whether to stay with something or move to something new. Either way, there is fortune around this. You are meant to be starting a new cycle around your work, around your creativity, around money. There is a blessing, and it's more connected to your heart. There's just something that hasn't worked in relationship or career. And those are the two things that I get strongest about this. So let's ask with the Flights of Fantasy Tarot. So that is a tarot that I felt kind of fitted with the energy of the white fly. We'll just shuffle, and then we will ask really what you might not see. Because I actually think there's a lot of clarity in this. I think you're coming to clarity. I think part of the fortune is that you were reluctant to see and decide. And one of the things that's going to bring fortune through for you is that you are now able to see and decide. And there may, in fact, literally be an offer or somebody coming into your sort of world to help you across that. Because if you're still feeling a little bit stuck, then that could be somebody literally coming in, a person literally coming in to bring you new energy. I'm also getting, this is very, very specific, but I'm getting it, so I'm going to say it. If somebody is trying here to start a family and they've had difficulty and disappointments and weren't sure about the sort of medical regimes they're under and so forth, wondered if they were going to have that, this suggests that there's going to be a breakthrough. So it's very specific, but I just got it as I was looking at the Page of Cups, that for some this may be about a child. So it's very specific. So we're going to ask with the Flights of Fantasy Tarot what you might not see, in relation to this fortune favouring you. That would be useful to see to make the most of this. Okay. So this is very much clarifying and showing that something about this past pattern, the relationship that you're in the way that is in, the way you looked at the relationship and the ideas you had about it as opposed to what it was and what it could potentially be, or a career or creative sort of material thing that you've been working on that you're trying to find a breakthrough for. The big issue is about liberation. This is the message. Fortune is wanting to liberate you from old patterns that didn't work for you. When we've got both the Eight of Wands and also the Devil reversed, the Devil reversed is liberation. It's breaking away from patterns that don't work, particularly emotional patterns or patterns of, addiction in one form or another. And that I'm thinking more psychological or emotional than anything physical there. But this is definitely that the energy of this is actually about liberating you and taking you to who you truly are, to bring the right relationship, the right career, whatever it might be, so that you feel very sure and that you understand. With the Queen of Wands, she always has sort of like familiars with her. In this case, it's often cats, but in this case, it looks like two dogs. That's the energy of the shadow that she understands in herself. So there's something in this opportunity that is about letting you know where your own ideals and so forth compared to what you could have, either had trapped you in a relationship that wasn't right when a better one can come through, or had made you feel reluctant to commit to a relationship that had a lot of promise because it didn't fit the cutout, or in career, Similarly, being in a job that wasn't quite right and you need to go to something else, or not being able to commit to what you could build from it because you still had this sort of idea about what you wanted to do. What you don't know is that the key thing about this is the liberation. It's the aha moment and coming out from hiding what you think and feel about things. With the Hermit reversed, there's a sense that you maybe put your own desires to the side and you didn't sort of articulate them in some way. So something about this decision is you articulating what you want to do in the future, and that's the point of this. And it doesn't matter in the end with the King of Pentacles reversed here. And we've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed there. It doesn't really matter. This is what Spirit's saying, whether you decide to go for the new or whether you stay and commit to what you're doing. That's not the key issue here. The key issue is processing out an idea of something and embracing the real potential of it. And that's where it is that liberates you in some way. So as I say, whether it's a relationship or a career, that you will be able to make this decision once you understand that that's the key thing. Just making a decision is the key thing that brings the energy in for you. So let's have a look at some signs that might help you know when you are close to this fortune and so forth. So I'm just going to draw a card from a couple of decks that I think show signs, like literally synchronicities and or dreams or oracular sort of information. So just things to look out for to help you know when you're sort of processing this, and the fortune energy, the good choice energy is really coming into focus for you. So we have Eagle. There's the flight. Definitely freedom. Like freedom is the energy in this. That's the fortune. You can free yourself of patterns and desires that actually don't serve you, to then really clearly see what you do have and build on that or go into something new. But you may see eagles, you may hear songs about eagles, you may think about birds in general, think about flight, you may have dreams where you're flying. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you do, because there's such an energy of liberation. Pay attention to that. Also, we have birth and babies. So this is talking about what do you need to nurture? What is the right thing to follow? So some of you, as I say, some of you, this might be about starting a family, and it's a very good sign if that's the case, that if there's been disappointments before, that something's coming through. For others, when you dream about birth or babies, or when you see that around, there's a lot about creativity. There's a lot about the new. This is this Page of Cups and Ace of Pentacles. This is something material coming in that you can truly love and truly be happy about. It may also be the birth of a new relationship, any of those sort of things, but it has to come from the freedom first. Then you can actually bring that in. But you may find that you see babies a lot, or you read about them, or you dream about them. All of those sort of things may tell you that this time for this flight is coming. This is when you have the moment to make the decision and the information that you need to make the decision. So let's look at some astrology or numerology energy around this as well before we close out just with a blessing card as well to finalise the reading for you. So let's see what astrology or numerology energy is around this rebirth or birth, this escape, this liberation, and this then this commitment to what you really want in life. 9, yeah, there's a completion cycle coming up for you. And so I think for many of you, it will be to go to a new relationship, a new job, whatever it is. But it doesn't have to be. It can also just be, in a job, it could be a completion of the job you're doing and then getting ready to step up to the next level, and the opportunities do arise once you sort of recalibrate your attitude to whatever's happened, to date, which doesn't mean to say if you were disappointed or held back that you were wrong to be disappointed or held back. It's just that energy is not helping you now. The energy to bring in the new is the positive. So there's a sense of completing something and then letting a new cycle come in. Waxing crescent moon, that's about setting new intentions and new seeds. This is about something new, even if it is committing to what you have, but in a different way. This is a time to say, what are my intentions? What do I want to do? This is how you liberate yourself, as opposed to, this is what I thought a relationship should look like because this is what it's like in the movies, or this is what I thought my career should be because this is what my family thought. This is about you having liberation to define what you want. And we have sextile. Yeah, it's going to be very easy to do it. like far easier than you think. You've made things more complicated for yourself than you need. I'm just going to deal out and get a couple of planets to see what the planets are in sextile to get a little bit more information for you. So the sun, one of them, yes, this is about you flying up to the sun. This is about you following your life path. And Neptune, using your psychic ability, using your inner knowing, using all of that and sorting through. I mean, Neptune to me in this context, particularly I'm feeling drawn to that Eight of Cups reverse, heading towards the moon there. I feel like there's a kind of almost you've been through or you're going to go through a kind of dark night of the soul to really work out what this is. I think for most of you, you've been through it and now you're coming out. But if you are going into that, welcome it, because that's where you're going to get back in touch with what your life path is. Okay, so pile one, we're just going to close out with a fairy blessing card. So what blessing on top of this fortune that is being brought to you can you access to make the most of how fortune is favouring you now? A blessing of Litha. Now that's really interesting because that's really the sense, firstly, of celebration. So I definitely feel this is why it's going to be easier than you think. I think you've been through the hard yards. So I think this is why fortune is going to favour you now. I think you've gone through the difficult part of this. This is a harvest. This is a celebration. This is the energy of summer. Whether or not you're literally somewhere where summer is at the moment, there is a sense of summer coming in, a sense of new life and the harvest, the ending and the new life. So it's really just reiterating that something really beautiful. You're closing out something that wasn't quite right for you, and you're either shifting it enough that it works for you, so you're closing out the cycle and the attitude of it into something new, or you're literally closing out something and taking on a new opportunity, a new love, a new career path, a new creative path, whatever it might be. This is a time of freedom and liberation for you, and it's as much as anything liberation from a kind of almost narrative you had in your head about what you wanted, which wasn't really as much in touch with what you wanted, but probably with what you thought society expected of you, your family expected of you, or the people around you expected of you. This is about you saying, this is me, this is who I'm going to be, and giving birth to that and bringing in what you want. So fortune is favouring you through liberation and self-discovery. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if so, please like the video and subscribe. And if you are already a subscriber, as I said in the beginning, I'd love to hear from you, not only about how this might have connected, but whether this sort of shorter kind of version of a reading is something that you would enjoy seeing more of in the future. But beyond that, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So we're going to start off with the Wilder Woven Tarot, which may have been the reason you came to this reading, or there could be other reasons, but that was the Wheel of Fortune card that was for pile number 2. And we're going to firstly ask Spirit about what is the new fortune that's coming through for you. How is fortune favouring you now, and how might you best actually use that, utilise it, take advantage of it. Then we're going to use the Crooked Cat Tarot, because I felt another sort of animal tarot was a good match for the energy of the Wilder Woven Tarot, to ask what you don't see that might be helpful to know to really take advantage of the new fortune coming through. So firstly, let's see what you get around what fortune is coming in for you now. Okay, so one of the things behind this reading, I have to say, was that years ago I used to, when I was young, read Archie comics. So you may or may not be familiar with them. I think that there's a TV series called Riverdale that they've based on Archie but taken in a different direction. But there was an Archie comic where Archie went through the day and all these things happened that he felt were sort of like a problem. Like, he dropped something, had to pick it up. And then in doing it, he avoided having a bird swooping at him and various things like that. So his guardian angel was watching over him all the time. And the fortune was actually that he was avoiding things that could have been an issue. And so it always struck me that sometimes we don't know what fortune is. And I feel as though there's a little bit of an energy here of that. I feel as though the fortune that you have at the moment is that victory is going to be yours in something. So that's definitely fortunate. You're going to get recognition. You're going to have victory about something. But I feel like it's as a result of seeing through a battle of some sort. Because the Eight of Wands reverse, it feels like the actually not moving on, not being free, staying with something, and seeing the Five of Swords here, seeing whatever the battle was. I don't think it's huge, but I think it's significant. It's significant to others rather than you too, and I'll get to why. I mean, it's almost, it's not self-sacrificial in a major way, but it's sort of like staying the course of something that is actually about the pain of others. So it's a cause. It really is a cause in some way. You will get recognition for it, but it's not your ultimate goal in life. It's not your ultimate karma or anything like that. It's a choice you are going to make to see something through. And I feel like it's either a battle or it's a point around a career or a creative project where it's not ultimately for you. You may be someone who has, quite a lot of planets, including maybe your sun in the 6th house. So your energy in this life may be more towards serving others than yourself, which doesn't necessarily mean every life that's going to be like that or anything, or it just might be that at the moment there is that energy. Because with the Tree of Life reversed here, I feel like this is not your battle, this is not your cause. But nevertheless, you are going to succeed. You are going to be victorious. And underneath it, it is releasing some sort of pain for you. So it feels as though you're doing something for friends or for family or for a loved one or a partner or even, within a workplace. And as I say, it's not your battle, but somehow you just sticking the course and being there with people and being a support for them is going to bring through such recognition for you. You're going to be sort of seen as such a sort of powerful and strong person. So, and it's not making the decision, that is about your heart. It's being with others rather than being separate and only in yourself. And it's bringing your pragmatism to things in an environment, I feel like, where there isn't a, fair sort of sharing of resources or something. There isn't. You are going to become the support. You are going to become the nourishment. You are going to become the protector almost of something. Now, this could be, as I say, it could be very, very personal. It could be around protecting a friend, from bullies, for instance. It could be protecting your partner from issues like just being there and helping them through, issues in their workplace, for instance. It could be something like that. It could also be on a much bigger stage where you don't make a decision to sort of leave, run away. You actually stay where you are. And it really is, you really are making a bit of a sacrifice with this. But as I say, you're going to be seen as so wise and so strong out of this. This is the fortune. Fortune feels like fortune favors the brave. So maybe even talking about the Archie comic isn't quite right, because it's not really a sense that you are going to go through adversity and it's to save yourself from a greater adversity. It's more that you are taking on a cause that isn't your fight, but you will do it anyway. And it proves a lot to yourself as well as to others. And it may take you to something. This is not the fight, but it may take you to something. You're here to make a difference. You're definitely here to make a difference. So, and in whatever level this is, and I feel like it connects you to people more than maybe you have been. You might have been quite disappointed in people actually, and disappointed in the environment that you're in. It feels a lot like, supporting people in a toxic workplace or in a community group that's not what it appears to be or whatever. But at the end of all of this, and I think you're close to the end of all of this, there is the reward, and there's a lot of learning that you get out of it. But it's like it's a timeout because it's not your ultimate life path. So if you're worried and you think, is this going to be what I do with my life going forward? I don't think that's the case. I just think that this proves something to you about you, and other people see it. Like, you really get recognized. You're a champion in some way. But it does take a choice not to go away from it. It does take a choice to see it head on. It does take a choice to connect with other people and to put your own emotional desires a little bit to the side while you go through it. But as I say, the payoff is big. So let's ask what you're not seeing, because I think, this is universe is asking a little bit of you here. Spirit's asking a little bit of you here. So let's see what you may not see that might make it easier for you to see this payoff in the end, and how it's important to you. So we'll use the Crooked Cat Tarot for that. Okay, well, this is interesting. So, firstly, it's saying, and it's interesting, we've got the Five of Pentacles here, and we also had, I think under there, oh no, where was it? There, the Five of Pentacles reversed there, that you are meant to sort of come out and be more with other people. You have had a tendency, potentially, to be a little bit more solitary within yourself. And it could be because injustices have happened to you, but it's also maybe the sort of thing underneath this that's going to make you stay in the battle, because you really do want to sort through that kind of thing. You've seen how it marginalised maybe you in some situations and other people that you cared about. And you are a natural peacemaker. But this is not your career. This is what it's saying. This is not going to be your career. It's not going to be the thing that in the end makes you money. It's something that brings you in touch with your soul. It's actually saying that you may be a little bit out of touch with what your true life purpose is. So this putting you in this situation is to bring you into alignment with what your true life purpose is, which is being a kind of a peacemaker, a very spiritual support person, and someone who does deal with injustice. But I don't think in the long term it's going to be done in like your career as such, or at least in this environment. I mean, you could potentially take these skills and use them as a career or a business, but that's not really the point. The point of this for you at the moment is for you to get back in touch with your spiritual essence, and the fact that you are actually a spiritual warrior, that you are someone who is here to do this. This is part of the blessing in getting back in touch with who you are. It's almost as though with the Six of Pentacles reversed here and then the Tree of Life reversed here, that you have been put in situations where you have felt a bit marginalised, or you have felt not understood. But you've got a cause now where you can support others. And in doing that, you actually start to revive who you really are. So this isn't your battle, but it is to reacquaint you with who you are, and to make you understand how spiritually and sort of intellectually strong you are, and how much you are a warrior against injustice. But it's like you're the knight going out into the battle, not the sort of king sitting at home hoping that the battle wins. You really are the person who makes the difference, and you will get recognized for it. But you've just got kind of out of touch with that side of you for some reason. And I think because, something's been done to you that marginalised you. The very thing that makes you strong and makes you different might have marginalised you in some way. So what you need to recognise about this is, although it's not your battle in some ways, and it's not pointing you to what you have to do materially, it is showing you something very core about yourself, and how spiritually strong you are, and how clear you are, and how you can actually do this. You're the pragmatist. You can go into that and see it and bring harmony where there's been injustice, and bring a better sort of sharing of resources or whatever it might be. But it's very pragmatic as well as very spiritual. So you're interesting people, pile two. So fortune is favouring you by reminding you who you are. So let's see a little bit more information on that. Let's have a look at a couple of decks that are meant to show the signs, either sort of literally through synchronicities or in dreams or in oracle readings like this, that point to the fact that this energy, this fortune is coming in, and that you can really get this victory, which I think is the key thing. And I don't think that's far off. So let's see what you get. So we get time. So this could be saying a number of things. It could be saying this is just a matter of time, and there is a time in which this occurs, and then you can get back on your pathway. It could also be that you see things like 11:11, 12:12, 3:33 on the clock. There could be those sorts of things where something that's being said, being thought about or done at that time is actually significant in some way. It could also be saying, to understand this, that this is a time and place. As I say, it's not your longer term thing, but it is meant to get you back in touch with who you truly are. That's the blessing in it, and it will have its time. I think Marcus Aurelius, said, "This too shall pass." And it was the concept that everything changes and everything moves. So, and that's really a very good distillation of the Wheel of Fortune as well, because sometimes we're on the rise and sometimes we're in reversal and then we're on the rise. I think you're about to be on the rise, but I think that you've been dealing with something that felt like a reversal. Okay, let's see in terms of either a dream or oracular message also that can help you. Magic. Okay, because there is something magical, something very spiritual and magical about you. And I think it's definitely saying things in dreams, things that you sort of come to you through sort of, potentially literally magical practice. You could be a bit of a magician, a bit of a kind of a manifester on that sort of level and so forth. But when you sort of feel as though serendipity, fortune, magic is coming to your aid, because there may very well be a sense here of like, how am I going to win this battle? But you are going to win this battle. And it may seem like magic, but it's really to remind you that you're magical. That's the message to you, that you are magical. But it's in a way of being able to sort of move the dial forward in a very positive way. That's why fortune is favouring you. Fortune wants you to be able to win this battle and then know who you are, to take it to whatever realm really matters to you and take that forward. Okay, so let's see some astrology or numerology energy that could help you in getting this blessing of recognition, victory, self-knowledge, being seen by others, all that sort of thing. Twelfth house. Yeah, this is all about you actually learning how powerful you are on a magical level. But I feel like it's playing out in a cause or a material environment or a contentious environment. If it's in a spiritual environment and you've been dealing with people who, try to compete with you or something like that, you're going to win. So, but it's sort of like, it's almost a secondary point. It's like, it's not to make you the most, celebrated psychic on the planet. It's to make you understand how strong that energy is so that you can take it to the causes that matter to you. So it's almost like if it was something like that, it's a bit petty but you are going to win and move past it. But it's definitely bringing you into touch with your spiritual strength. I think though for most of you, it's in a very material, very 3D sort of world that this battle is occurring, but it's to make you know your magic. And we have earth. Yeah, that's a confirmation. Most of you, this is going to be in a very earthy, practical, pragmatic workplaces, groups, community groups, causes, politics, that kind of thing. And Scorpio. Oh, there's a psychic energy as well too. Some of you may have the moon in Scorpio, or Scorpio may be in your 12th house. If not, you can get to the depths. You can really understand what's going on. This is why it's important for you to know who you are. This is not an accident. Fortune is definitely putting you in this position to be victorious and to learn this stuff about yourself and to get back to understanding who you are so that you actually follow your own fortune more, that you kind of understand it in the broader context of your life. So to finish up, Pile 2, I'm just going to draw a fairy blessing card just to sort of do a kind of synthesized blessing or an additional part of the fortune that Spirit wants you to know about. The blessing of the mothers. So this adds an interesting element to it because the blessing of the mothers is the mother Fae here. Seeing all the acts of kindness you have done, all the generosity, all where you have done things for others. And this is very much this sense. This is like a battle you've taken on that isn't really yours, but is meant to tell you something about yourself. And it brings unexpected blessings. So it may even be that you don't think you can win this battle, but you will, because part of their blessing is to make sure that you do. It talks about all your kindnesses and your support of others coming back to you threefold. So there's certainly a second blessing level to this, that when you have done this, when you have had the victory, you're not just going to get recognition from others, but you're actually going to get good karmic rewards for it. And I think that sort of sense and that guidance towards your real destiny and who you really are and understanding who you are. You may not have thought you could win this battle. And in actual fact, it's so innate in you because it's the marriage of the sort of spiritual magic with the pragmatism and the understanding of the 3D world. But in any case, this blessing says that your kindnesses, your support of others will not go unrecognized. People will see it, they will see it, in terms of the mothers. You will have a boon that comes from this. So that's a beautiful closing message for a reading that was really saying your blessing is kind of about winning a battle that isn't even your battle. But in the end, it takes you to who you really are. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed it, Pile 2. If so, please like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more readings such as this. And if you are one of my wonderful regular viewers and subscribers, do let me know if you enjoy this type of structure, this sort of briefer and very to the point message. Beyond that, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So I'm just shuffling the cute and creepy tarot now. So what we're asking Spirit for is an understanding of what blessing, what fortune is about to favour you, and how would you best take advantage of that. And once we've sort of looked at these particular tarot cards, we're going to clarify with the Dark Mansions Tarot, because I feel it has a similar sort of energy to the cute and creepy tarot. But that clarification will be about what you maybe don't see in terms of this fortune's blessing and how you can use that, knowing that. So firstly, what fortune is about to favour Pile 3? Okay, so this looks a lot like it has to do with relationships or things that are close to your heart. So friendships, love, things that are close to your heart. And I think that the fortune that is coming for you, Pile 3, is a breakthrough, but it's a breakthrough rather than a breakdown. With the Tower reversed, that's a sense that you can see change coming and you can structure it and you can do something with it. So you can either stop it from happening if you don't want the change to happen because the tower hasn't fallen yet, or you can do almost like a sort of ordered demolition, and so that you actually change and restructure something to what you want, and to bring it more towards something that is happy for you emotionally rather than something that made you feel a bit emotionally stuck. So this is definitely around, I think, either, as I say, friendships, family relationships, or love relationships, or how you enjoy things, where you find joy. And I feel like the blessing or the fortune is to allow you to make the changes you need to move out of feeling a bit emotionally stuck, to get to that sort of celebration sort of level, and to heal something around what you commit to or what you want to commit to next with the Knight of Pentacles there. You have felt like you couldn't make a choice, or you didn't understand an option around you in terms of love. So love or friendship or something close to the heart, with the Knight of Cups reversed and Death reversed. It's like you didn't have enough information, or you didn't feel in control enough to make a decision about this and potentially to commit to a relationship, I think. And as a result, you've been very, very careful about what you did. Do you take something through to the end? You don't want to offend anybody, you're careful what your actions are or whatever, but you're coming to a point where you're going to see you can make a decision. Something's going to come to the surface. So you're going to understand something. If the reason you couldn't commit to a relationship and you actually do want to commit to one is that you didn't have enough information to know and you felt a bit out of control, you're going to get the information to make the decision about whether to commit or not. If you were in a relationship that didn't feel like it was authentic, you may find out that that's true. And in doing it, you can make the judgment that frees you to be able to sort of move on to something else. And this, as I say, could be a love relationship. It could be a friendship. But it's something in that area. This is about clearing of pain, getting more clarity, being able to make a decision after not feeling like you could. So this could either be a fortune to take you to the next level on a relationship and actually committing, going, actually, this is the right relationship for me. Now I do know. Now I know I don't have to be so careful. There really is a harmony here. And there is a sense of harmony. The overarching energy to start this is around harmony and celebration. Or it could be, I'm going to commit to me and commit to healing from pain around something. And that might be a little bit of a slow process, but I'm in control of it. And it's going to take me out of feeling a bit emotionally stuck. I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to look into this, understand what's going on, and then I'm going to make the decision. So I think for some of you, the blessing may be moving on from a relationship, and for some it may be committing. And as I say, it could be any type of relationship. It doesn't feel like work. I mean, the Knight of Pentacles can be work. So for some of you, there could be something about, are you doing really what you love and really what you want to do? And is there a way that you could change how you made money? And yes, there is. You're going to be able to make a decision. You're going to actually get a plan, and you don't have to fit in with environments that are not emotionally resonating for you. So if you are looking for a fortune around shifting a work situation to something that you would feel more comfortable with, this certainly is suggesting that you're going to get the information to make the decisions that work for you. But for most, I feel this is around relationship, love or friendship, or even resolving tensions around groups or family or something like that. It's been a bit of a long-standing area of pain, but the part of the fortune is to allow you to free that energy now, to let that go and to find what is healthier and better for you. You're going to be in control. The big blessing, the big fortune around this is you're going to get the information to make the decisions you need after feeling stuck, and you're going to be in control of how quickly and how profoundly changes occur. So given that some of this is really about finding out what you didn't know so that you have the right information to make the decision, and I think Spirit is saying here it will be the right time to make the decision. You're actually right to avoid making a decision until you get the information. Let's see what Spirit wants to tell us with the Dark Mansion Tarot around what you don't know at the moment that could help you. It could be the beginning of uncovering what you need to bring in the fortune of celebration and being more comfortable with relationships that you're in. Okay, so it's saying firstly, you are, whether you know it or not, and if you're thinking, I can't even see this happening, you are definitely moving towards a point of better relationships, happiness, all of that kind of thing. On a very, very specific reading of this, it could be saying that there is a third party around a relationship with that coming up twice. But if that's the case, it's coming up so you can decide what you do with that. So that's a possibility. It's very specific. I don't think that's going to be most people at all. I think for most of you, this is just a confirmation that you are going to reach this, that even if you doubt it at the moment because you're still feeling the pain, you are going to reach this. What Spirit is saying is that you always had the power to decide. Your gut instinct on this would have been dead on. It's just that you didn't trust it. And you weren't sure if you had the strength to go through it, but you do. You definitely do. You not only have the clarity with the Tower reversed, and you'll get more information and so forth to do it, but you've always been able to decide. Whatever this situation was, you were always the stronger in the situation. So you're either going to be able to restructure it, change it, and bring it to something that you want and you can commit to, or you're going to be able to move away to bring in something else. But you always had that. Spirit is saying that what you don't know is how strong you actually are, and how pure your motives are around things. You do want to commit to the right relationships. You're very loyal. And maybe part of the issue was that it was difficult for you to make the decision or to even see what this was, and you kind of inculcated the pain in a way because you are such a loyal person. But there's something with the King of Wands. There's ego clashes. There's somebody who is a bit controlling. Whatever this is, it's in a relationship. It could be someone whose ego and wish for power has been dominating the situation. If it's around friendships, it's probably ego battles, competition. Whatever it is, that has been there. And it's been used to kind of confuse you, and so you don't see what you have. Like, this is literally someone who would tell you, well, you couldn't live without me, or if you leave this group, then you're going to be nothing, or whatever. There's that kind of manipulation to not let you see that you really can have what you want, and you really are the stronger in this situation. So Spirit says, all you really need to know is that you are much more in control of this than the other party, in whatever sense this is. I don't get a sense, I have to say, that for most that this is going to be committing to a relationship you're in. I feel more like it's leaving one to free your energy and understand your own power and bring in something. Because with that King of Wands reverse, I just feel like in this scenario, there's some ego game playing going on. But, if you do feel that the decision tells you that you can now take control and shift that, that's fine. I mean, it might be for some of you, you can shift that by actually owning your own power. You can shift that and dull that energy. It isn't working anymore. But I just feel with this, it just feels to me like an energy that's not, it's not malefic, but it's not really conducive to, this sort of energy. I feel like you're meant to bring in better connections and so forth by understanding your own power. Okay, so let's have a look at what signs might tell you, sort of psychic synchronicity signs and also dreams or oracular signs, that you're really starting to get the information you need and starting to feel that you're moving into your power and making your decisions around whatever this is. So firstly, we have white light. Okay, so some of you may do something like white light meditation, and that may sort of bring this in. You may hear about white light, see sort of YouTube videos about white light. You may see oracles about white light. Any of those things could be potentially what's happening there. I also get the sense, looking at that too, angel sort of energy. So angel numbers, watch out for those. Sort of like angel wings as symbols, things like that. I think it's all just meant to be saying you're getting in touch with your own oracular ability, your own psychic ability, and your understanding of your own strength. Let's see in terms of either dreams or oracles. Okay. Food. Okay. So it's interesting with the pentacles, like maybe there's a sense of like feeling nourished. Like part of this fortune is to feel nourished rather than to feel kind of like always in battle. So it's what nourishes you. Maybe that's the thing, like when you're working out whether you want to change or move away from situations, what you can change, what is nourishing. That could be the core. Then it brings you the strength, it brings you the Queen of Pentacles and so forth. You may dream about food. You may find certain foods are drawing to you. You may find that you want to change your diet in some way that makes you feel stronger and more able to deal with this. You might do a detox or a cleanse or something like that. But certainly there's a sense of nourishing yourself rather than the ego, I think, of others around you in this situation. Okay, so let's see what astrology or numerology energy could be helping you as well to claim this fortune. Which I think the main fortune here is the clarity of understanding your own strength and your own control in situations where maybe people tried to gaslight you and into thinking that you weren't in control or you needed them more than they needed you. Aquarius. Yeah, so that's that level of detachment, It's sort of like not being so much in the, how do I deal with everybody and how do I make sure I don't offend everybody? It's like going to that sort of judgment energy, listening and looking at what happens and being a bit detached. So there's a degree of detachment that's going to help with this, and a kind of a bigger picture view. Also potentially, quite prophetic. So you might even sort of dream, with this white light energy of information. It might be how that information comes to you. You can see what's coming. This is why you can actually control, as I say, the controlled demolition or the controlled restructuring, whatever it is. We have Saturn return. Okay, this is about you coming into your power and knowing who you are. Some of you may literally be in the age that Saturn return is happening, which, it can happen, or it does happen, between around about 28 and 30, and that's where you first come into your power. It also happens again around about 58 to 60, where you get liberation and freedom. I think for most of you, this feels more like the coming into your power energy. It theoretically comes in again, around about sort of 88 to 90. I'm not really sure what that's meant to do. Probably further liberation and so forth, or bringing in the full wisdom and so forth of Saturn. But I feel for most of you, this is about coming into your power. The fortune here is you understanding how strong you are and how much more mature I think you are than whoever this person or people is that you've been around. And 6, you will find your people. This is why it's saying the Three of Cups and the Three of Cups. If you feel that making these changes, you're going to be on your own or something like that, you will find your person, like a love relationship. If that's what you're shifting, you will find your group, your people. You will find the right people once you go into your own power. While you don't go into your own power, you're kind of being hoodwinked and you're with the wrong people in one form or another, or they're just doing wrong behavior and you've got to kind of take control of the show, and maybe that shifts them and they grow up and it works out. But either way, you will find your people. So to finish off, I'm just going to draw a card from the Fairy Blessings deck to get a final blessing that may be an additional part of fortune favouring you around this situation, or it might be a way of synthesising what Spirit is saying to you. You have a blessing of Arwen. So this is definitely underlying that new friendships, new loves, or radically changed ones, if you want to hold on to them, but you think they're not a lost cause and you can sort of work it out, whatever works for you. But blessing of Arwen is about sort of new friendships, new opportunities, new loves, all of that sort of thing coming in and connecting to the joy of that and connecting to your own magic. So this is picking up the white light energy, your own strength. There is a lot here about understanding that, and I think that's why the moon reversed was there. You maybe underestimate your ability in that space, and in fact you underestimate yourself full stop, and the whole point about this is for you to see how strong you are and how that brings the right people and brings these blessings in. So it's why it's reiterated that the Three of Cups twice. You are going, and we've got 6 here. The blessing for you, the fortune for you is a radical shift that you bring in, and you can sort of determine around relationships that you're in if you want to stay in them, or new ones coming in, having started to understand your own power, and that possibly if there's been ego battles around you, it's because you've been more powerful than the other people around you. You need to find people at your level if that's the case. But either way, a blessing of Arwen is bringing that in. It's reiterating the promise right from the beginning of the Three of Cups. The fortune that's coming in for you is happier relationships, in whatever that means to you. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading, pile 3. And if you did, please like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for similar readings, similar sort of videos in the future. If you are one of my wonderful loyal subscribers, then do let me know whether you like this sort of short, sharp sort of reading. As I say, it's not going to replace the longer sort of self-development, spiritual development readings that I do, but it might be an addition if I get enough sort of feedback that people are enjoying it. I've enjoyed doing them. I think they're really interesting readings, so I hope you enjoyed them too. But beyond that, I hope to see you in future readings.